We are back. And it is fight week. It's UFC 328 fight week. Hamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. But before we get into that, we got to talk about what happened last Saturday. And before we get into that, that means coming later on this week will be my full breakdown and predictions UFC 328. So make sure you guys stay tuned to check that out as well. Before we get into that, we got to talk about this. UFC Fight Night, Perth, Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates went down. We got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about how I did on my predictions, talk about the fights in general, and just, clear the air on what happened down under. So let's get right into it. First fight of the night was Dom Marfan, Morse Code, versus Cody Steele in the lightweight division. Now, I started off the night rough because I believe I picked Dom Marfan to win by decision, if I do remember correctly. As you can see, he got submitted in under 4 minutes by Cody Steele. Very impressive from Cody Steele. He gets a knee bar in the first round. Very slick. It's kind of what I came to expect from him because he had a stint on UFC BJJ, so he has that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. I swear, if I keep talking about decorated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, well, he's got one. His first fight against Rong Zhu, he lost, but it was a scrap. So he showed, all right, see guys, I can scrap. I'm not just a loser jiu-jitsu guy. I can scrap. And then by the time he got his next fight, Dom Marfan goes, hey, by the way, I can still do that jiu-jitsu stuff. And he got a cool, slick little knee bar on Dom Marfan, gets himself a win there. Slick little win, like I said, fun fight. Unfortunately, I did not get it right. But hey, it is what it is. It was a good way to start the show. First round finish in the first fight. I'll take that any day of the week, brother. Any day of the week. Let's move on. Jonathan McAuliffe versus Themba Gorimbo. Now, this one went all 3 rounds. I did pick McAuliffe to win this fight. I believe I picked a 3rd round TKO. He did not get that. Obviously, got the decision. But we'll get into some notes on it, Obviously, they came out in opposite stances, and Gorimbo was looking to wrestle. He did not want to strike with McAuliffe too much. McAuliffe was trying to chop away at the legs of Themba Gorimbo. Gorimbo was firing back, though, some kicks of his own. Gorimbo was looking for the clinch when he was in danger. Anytime he was in a bad spot, he'd look for the clinch in that wrestling. But McAuliffe ends up getting the takedown and landed some ground and pound. So I had him winning the first round. I believe this was a split decision, too, by the way. Round 2, Gorimbo back on the pressure, landed some big shots. McAuliffe went back to the wrestling this time, but Gorimbo gets a takedown. So first round, Gorimbo is trying to wrestle. He gets taken down. McAuliffe tries to wrestle in the second round. He gets taken down. So how's that happening? McAuliffe gets a failed takedown, which lets Gorimbo get on top. Gorimbo had good pressure and control. He gets to the back, lands some good elbows from the back. McAuliffe turns back in and gets on top right at the end of the round. So I had round 2 for Gorimbo, so I had it 1-1 going into round 3. This is going to be the deciding factor of who wins this fight. And I think they both knew that because they both came out more active. Their striking was more picked up at the beginning of the 3rd round. Gorimbo gets a takedown, but McAuliffe got right back up from it. Gorimbo was trying to control him on the cage, but ends up getting reversed. McAuliffe kept countering the jab he kept using a counter jab, off of the low kick. Gorimbo would throw a low kick, and McAuliffe would pop off with a jab to kind of counteract that every time. McAuliffe starting to land some good shots. I gave him that round. I had it 29-28 McAuliffe, and he did in fact win by split decision. I had him 2 rounds to 1. So yeah, like I said, I picked him to win. My original prediction was I believe a 3rd round TKO. Watching it, I scored it for McAuliffe, so I do agree with him winning that fight. That puts me at 1-1 on the night. We move up to the middleweights, man. This fight here, Ben Johnson versus Wes Schultz. I think I should read the notes on this one. I could break it down without him, but I think I should. Round 1, Schultz, straight to the wrestling. He's not a striker. We know this. He's not a striker, and in fact, he's not a good one either. He's looking to grapple. He's looking to wrestle. That's all he's got. I literally have right here. Schultz straight to the wrestling, ends up on bottom. So he tries to wrestle, doesn't work, gets on bottom. Johnson attacks an arm triangle. He's not letting Schultz get up. He's landing some ground and pound. And I have Schultz wants something to do with the striking. That was a pretty easy 10-9 round for Ben Johnson. Round 2, Schultz back to the wrestling. He does land a big knee on Ben Johnson. I don't think he realized that he landed it, but he did. And then he jumps the guillotine. He only does that roughly 14 more times in this fight. He jumps the guillotine, switches it to a Darce. Johnson survives both of those. Wild scramble from both of them. Schultz gets back, but falls off, and Johnson on top, landing elbows. Schultz jumps guillotine again. Corner, it was funny because he keeps jumping guillotine, and at the end of the first round, or in between rounds, between the first and second round, his corner's like, hey, I want you to dig the underhook and get up out from off bottom. Quit looking for that guillotine. Get up. I like what you're doing on the feet. What does he do? Not a single thing his coach has said. He does not do any of that. He goes straight back to the guillotine. You know what? That's next level thinking from Wes Schultz. Party time, Wes Schultz. Good work, brother. Go ahead and send the coaches home. They're getting paid for nothing. Easiest job on the planet. Yeah, I had that 10-9 Johnson as well. So I had Schultz down 2 rounds here. He needs a finisher in round 3. As you can see, he gets it. Here we go. Round 3, Schultz pressures. Johnston shoots. Schultz gets what he does. I bet you can't guess. Option A. Counter uppercut knocks him out cold. Option 2. Sprawls on the takedown, stuffs his head, stands back up. Option 3. Jumps guillotine. If you picked option 3, you would be correct. Wes Schultz jumps the guillotine once again. Johnson, guess what he does? He gets out of it again. Insane. I can't write this. Guess how Schultz counters that? After Johnson getting out of the guillotine, what does he do? He throws it again. Dustin Poirier was standing up on his feet in tears watching this fight. In tears. Don't be silly. Jump the gilly. Wes Schultz went crazy with the gilly, man. And guess what? Guess what happens? You think Johnson got out of it, didn't you? Wrong. Submission. He taps. Wes Schultz gets it done on guillotine attempt number 46 of the fight. He gets a 3rd round submission. That fight was crazy. Wes Schultz, the definition of insanity. Trying the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. But hey, he got a different result. Maybe he's not crazy. Maybe I am for hating. Shout out Wes Schultz. Gets his first win in the UFC by 3rd round guillotine over Ben Johnston. I got that one wrong because I believe I picked John. Yeah, I definitely did not pick Wes Schultz. So I'm sitting at 1-2. Rough. We move to the bantamweights. Colby Thickness versus Vince Morales. This fight was fun. I will say that. Round 1. Morales instant pressure. Thickness was looking to catch Morales on the way in. When Morales tried to get in on either in his shots or landing shots or shooting takedowns, that's when Thickness was trying to catch him. He's trying to counterpunch. I have Morales is looking to wrestle, of course. He gets the takedown. Colby Thickness, guess what he does? He was watching Wes Schultz. He got hyped up watching Party Time. He jumps the guillotine, bro. I was losing my mind because I can't stand the guillotine. I can't stand a guillotine, especially if you're not going to do it right. Especially an arm-in guillotine. That I can't stand. Topic for another time. Let's continue. Thickness gets to the back, too, after this. He threatens the guillotine. He gets to the back. Morales ends up on top. Thickness goes for a triangle and then switches it to an armbar. Both were deep, mind you. Both were deep. And Morales somehow survives both of them. Gets on top and threatens an arm triangle right at the end of the round. 10-9 Thickness at the end of round 1. Crazy round. Almost finished him twice. Like I said, he had a triangle that was tight. Then he switched it to a tight armbar, but somehow Morales survives. And if you watch my predictions video, that's something I've talked about with Morales. He doesn't win a lot, but man, he makes you work for it. If you're going to beat him, he's going to make you work for it. And he definitely made Thickness work for this decision here. Round 2. Morales back on the pressure. He's not afraid to scrap, though. He's been looking to wrestle, but he will throw some hands. He's not afraid. Thickness, lots of overhands and body kicks was kind of his go-to on the feet. Morales, again, he had takedown. He had good takedown defense and balance as well. Trying to defend the takedowns, or if he was in any point where he's about to get taken down from Thickness, he had good defense and balance as well to stay on his feet. I had that as a close round, but I gave that one to Morales, so I had it 1 round apiece going into round 3. So this round was going to decide the winner. We go into round 3. Morales was back on the pressure. Thickness was starting to lunge on his punches a lot. He was getting a little sloppy on the feet. He wanted to land that overhand right very, very badly. Morales ends up hurting Thickness with a shot here. Yeah, excuse me. Sorry, I totally lost my spot there. Morales hurts thickness. He hurts him there and then sprawls his takedown. He tries a Peruvian necktie, which was sick. You don't see that very often. He tried a Peruvian necktie. Morales gets to the back, attempts a rear naked choke and an arm triangle. From what I have here on my notes, I gave that round to Morales, and I had it 29-28 Vince Morales, is what I had on my notes. Because I gave him round 2 as well, apparently, watching this back. So I had Morales winning this fight, 29-28. The judges had it for Colby Thickness. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should watch it again. But in my heart, in my gut, watching the fight, that's what I scored it. So I'm not going to step back on it now. That's what I picked. Or that's what I scored anyway. But I originally had picked a Colby Thickness decision. So I got that completely right. So I'm glad my scoring was wrong. We move on to an absolute dud of a fight. Jacob Malkoun versus Gerald Meerschaert. Malkoun, first round. He's pressuring first. Meerschaert leaning back with his chin up. Classic GM3 maneuver there. Vintage Gerald Meerschaert on that one, I would say. Meerschaert, guess what he does? You will not believe it. Jumps the guillotine. He jumps the guillotine. It was the theme. People are getting frisky. They're getting freaky down in Australia. They're jumping gillies all night long. He jumps the gilly. Malkoun, on top, by the way. A mounted guillotine I won't hate on. That's better than a regular one. He goes for a mounted guillotine. Malkoun ends up getting his guard back, though. Lands some elbows from the bottom. Now they're in a half guard. And then I wrote, Malkoun's got to stay striking. No shooting. He needs to keep it on the feet because Gerald Meerschaert can't strike. So I had round 1, 10-9 Meerschaert. We go into round 2. I had, first thing I wrote, Gerald looks old and tired. Every Gerald Meerschaert fight ever. Good notes taking by me. Malkoun's pressuring. He's landing punches well. I say he needs to commit to his striking. He wasn't committing to it as much as he could. Gerald Meerschaert's kind of a walking punching bag. He should have been way more confident in his striking when he's fighting a guy like GM3. So, yeah, he should have took more advantage of that. Meerschaert shoots and Malkoun defends. Meerschaert pulls guard. Malkoun ends around on top. That's 10-9 Malkoun. We go into round number 3. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because a lot of people scored this round for Meerschaert. A lot of people scored it for the old man. I said Malkoun can finish his fight if he picks up the pace in the striking. Gerald looks so uninterested. Every one of his fights, he just has this look on his face where he looks like he doesn't want to be there. And if you watch any of his fights, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He just kind of has that look on his face like, bro, that's why you've lost like 26 fights. Let's move on. Anyway, where are we at? Malkoun, too patient on the feet. I'd like to say, you need to pick up the pressure. You need to put the pace on, the pressure on, and start getting in that face of Meerschaert. I love saying his name, dude. Anyway, I literally have, bro, you're fighting Gerald Meerschaert. That's what I'm talking about. Like, bro, pick up the pace. Let them hands fly. It's Gerald Meerschaert. Just don't go to the ground with him. It's pretty simple. Anyway. Malkoun ends up on top. Gerald's throwing. He's throwing more. Or on top now. Excuse me. Like he's putting the pressure on now. He looks good now. Gerald's throwing. He's throwing more on the feet than he was in round 2 and round 1. Malkoun gets the takedown. Meerschaert jumps a mounted guillotine. Again, but this one, again, mounted. It's a little different. I don't hate it as much. And it was actually pretty tight. It was low-key kind of tight. Pause. But some people gave it to him for the guillotine. I didn't, just because he's very good at getting beat up. He was getting beat up. And it wasn't like a bad beat up. Like he wasn't getting mauled. But he was getting touched up pretty bad. Again, pause. Tight touched up. I'm sorry. Yeah, he was getting touched up, though, by Malkoun. So I still gave round 3 to Jacob Malkoun. Not in an impressive form by any chance. Like, you're fighting Gerald Meerschaert. Again, I hate the shart all over Gerald Meerschaert. But he's not the best, especially on the feet. So you should be able to knock that dude out. And Malkoun just didn't want to let his hands go, put the pressure on. But he does get out of here with a decision win over Gerald Meerschaert. I picked Malkoun to win. I definitely did not pick a decision. I thought he would let his hands go. But he was, for some reason, scared to do that against Gerald Meerschaert. Why? No one knows. Let's move on. I'm kind of sick of talking about that fight. Oh, it only gets better. Light heavyweights, Junior Tafa versus Kevin Christian. Now, this one I was completely wrong on. I picked Kevin Christian to win this fight, dude, just because I think Junior Tafa is one of the worst fighters I've ever seen. But we found someone worse. You found someone bigger. We found someone worse. It's Kevin Christian. He's worse than Junior Tafa. Figured that out on Saturday. This fight ends in round 1. Knockout from Junior Tafa. He's probably fighting for his job here, so good thing he got that done. First thing I have. Christian is huge. He was tall as hell. He was super tall. A lot taller. Very tall. Taller than Junior Tafa, for sure. It was a patient start. Big leg kicks from Christian, and Tafa was throwing power shots as he does. Being a fat Australian, which we'll talk about later on, you just throw heavy punches and can't defend takedowns. He starts chasing Christian, and Christian's awkwardly Slenderman running away. And then he gets caught on the chin and gets put out in round 1. There's not much to talk about. Tafa, like I said, first round knockout over Kevin Christian. That was probably the only guy on the roster that Junior Tafa could beat. So congrats to the big Taf. But yeah. He's probably, like I said, probably fighting for his job. But hey, he gets it done. I got that one wrong. It is what it is. We move on. Middleweights. Cam Rosen versus Robert Brycecheck. This one was, I don't want to say fun, but very impressive from Rosen because he dominated this fight pretty well. You look at the total strikes, very, very different. Look at the takedowns, very different. He beat him everywhere. He did everything he had to do to win this fight. He stayed long when he needed to stay long. He got the takedowns when he needed to get the takedowns. He looked good. I mean, we'll go over it a little bit. I said Rosen's so tall. He threw lots of feints and very active striking, lots of volume and kicks. Brycecheck was unloading when he could get inside. That was his problem. He was struggling to get inside. He's a good striker, good boxer, good power, but he needs to get into the pocket. And it was hard for him to get in the pocket on Cam Rosen because he was so tall. And like I said, Rosen did a good job of not letting him get inside to get to where he's good. He did a great job of that. Rosen gets a takedown. Brycecheck's picking up the pace a little bit, though, after they get back to the feet. He started picking up a little more, knowing that he was kind of in trouble when it went to the ground and knowing that he needed to get inside to get his money going, his money shots going. Rosen gets another takedown, and he landed some ground and pound at a 10-9 Rosen at the end of round number 1. Round 2, Rosen's landing well. He's landing well, but one clean shot from Brycecheck, and he shoots. So every time he would get caught by anything from Brycecheck, he'd start shooting in, which is probably smart. I can't hate on him for it. Like I said, he knew he was the better wrestler. He knew he was the better grappler. Brycecheck's got good power. He was, like I said, doing good at keeping him away, but when he did get inside, if he get hit, he starts shooting. Smart move. Rosen good on top, or good top control with more ground and pound. I give him round 2 there as well. Round 3, more Rosen wrestling, smothering Brycecheck on the ground and pound. That's 3 rounds to nothing for Cam Rosen. Gets unanimous decision over Robert Brycecheck. I believe I did pick Rosen to win this fight. I believe I picked a finish. I believe I picked a late round finish, maybe a second or third round. I want to say a third round. But he gets it done by decision. Like I said, he wrestled when he needed to wrestle. Very smart, high fight IQ fight there, I'd say, from Cam Rosen. So Robert Brycecheck, like I said, not bad by any means. It was just a bad matchup for him stylistically and build-wise. So, yeah. He gets it done. And we get to move on to the main card where we started with this. I'm just going to let you guys take it in. Tai Tuivasa. Taco Bell Tai Tuivasa. Louis Sutherland. I'm trying to think of something to say. It speaks for itself, man. Louis Sutherland gets the decision whenever Tai Tuivasa, which I predicted to a T. I actually predicted this fight to a T. And I'm not even proud of it because it's such a shame that I was right. Tai Tuivasa was like a 6-fight losing streak going into this fight? Taco Bell Tai, right? I talked about fat Australians, all they can do is throw hands. Here's the guy I was talking about. Tai Tuivasa is the king of that. He's the ringleader of that. So, he comes into this fight. I said there was 2 options. I said either this happens, what happened, or Tai Tuivasa catches him in the first round, knocks him out. Well, he didn't knock him out. Let's see. I took notes. I don't even know if they're worth getting into, but we'll do it. Round 1. Sutherland bouncing around early, going for the low kicks, shoots a takedown, gets another takedown. Tuivasa, his defense, you would think, was it a sprawl? Nope. Was it a little cowboy collar, push the head down? Nope. Was it a counter uppercut? Nope. It was a guillotine. He jumped the ghillie. This was my reaction watching him jump the ghillie. Are we serious, Ty? We're jumping ghillies, fat boy? No! No! Anyway. Sutherland lands a nice knee. He's smothering on top. 10-9 Sutherland. We go into round 2. If you think the action picked up in round 2, hate to break it to you, brother. No, it don't. Round 2, Sutherland back to leg kicks and wrestling. Gets the takedown, back to smothering. Not too active. Some ground and pound. Both guys are gassed out. They were both super tired. I mean, they're both big fat dudes, and they got super tired. There's a lot of just fat belly sweat hitting each other. I'm sorry. That's an image that's in your head now. But, I mean, Tai Tuivasa is some of the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. He could not stand up at all. Like, every time Louis would touch him, he all of a sudden, he start falling over. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on here, but it was some of the worst takedown defense I've ever seen. The only other person with worst takedown defense might be Junior Tafa. We move on to round 3. This is the smallest portion of notes that I wrote. Sutherland back on top. Some pop shots. Ref stands him up. Ty on top now. And then I believe there was an illegal... It was like a legal up kicker. There was something from Ty. He got a point deducted. So I had that 10-8 Sutherland. So it ended up being a 30-26 for Louis Sutherland with a boring, smothering, fat decision, which, like I said, I did predict perfectly. So I will take it. That put me at 5-3 going after this fight. But, man, bro, what do you do? What do you do for Ty? You cut him is what you do. The UFC probably won't, but you need to cut this dude. He sucks. He had his moments back whenever. No, he's not doing the shoeies no more because he's not winning, bro. This was the most winnable fight for Tai Tuivasa was Louis Sutherland. Who else could you possibly give him? I don't know if him and Junior Tafa, are they buddies? Are they cool? Because if not, just have them fight each other. Have them fight each other because they both can't stand wrestling. They both suck at wrestling. They both can't stop a takedown, and they both just want to strike. So I'm sure they're buddies because they're both big Australian dudes. But hey, if they're not, man, make them fight. Or something, I don't know, because there's nothing else to do for either one of them. Because they're going to lose every other fight you give them. Especially Tai Tuivasa, he needs cut. Taco Bell Ty needs cut. Unless he turns into Chipotle Kai, or Chipotle Ty and gets in shape. Yeah, no. Go ahead and cut Taco Bell Ty, get him out of the UFC. We move on to a way more entertaining heavyweight fight. Shamil the Blob Gaziev versus Brando the Balkan Bear Pericic, bro. Great nickname, by the way. Pericic gets it done. Another one I got perfectly right. Round 2 finish. Knockout TKO from Brando Pericic over Shamil Gaziev. Let's get into it a little bit on these notes. Pericic was letting Gaziev back him up to the cage. Bad start. Shamil Gaziev gets his takedown. I said vintage Gaziev. Body blob lock is what I wrote. That's so messed up. He gets a body lock on the cage. Refs warning them to splitting them up. He ends up doing so. Pericic is very fast and powerful, and he lands big right hands. He was landing on Shamil a lot. And Shamil, I will say, Shamil Gaziev ate a lot of punches before he eventually did get knocked out. He ate a lot more than I thought he would, and he threw a lot more than I thought he would. He wasn't afraid to get into the fire a little bit with the bear and scrap a little bit. I respect it from Shamil the Blob. You know what I'm saying? Gaziev ends up getting hurt. He's clinching for safety. Back to cave control. Ref breaks them up again. I said, if this keeps happening, Gaziev's getting finished. Do I see into the future? Then Gaziev did. He did tag Pericic. So right after I wrote that, he landed a good shot that hurt Pericic a little bit. I said like two bears throwing paws, is what I said. That was my description. They were fighting over like a honeycomb or something. You know what I'm saying? Picture it. Picture it right now. Do it with me. You see two big bears in the woods fighting over a piece of honeycomb. Then you open your eyes, it's Brando Pericic and Shamil Gaziev. It was the same thing. It was two big, hairy dudes. You know what? With no glasses on, you squint a little bit, it might be the same thing. Round 1, 10-9 Pericic. We go into round number 2, where it all goes down. Right back to swinging heavy. These guys, right back to it. They started throwing heavy shots at each other. Gaziev is landing some good shots. He did land some good ones, like I said. It wasn't just him getting beat up. He did go into the fire a little bit and have some success. Perisic was just more powerful, and he was way faster than Shamil, and he had better kicks, better low kicks. I have Gaziev. He started taking charge a little bit. They were both tired. Gaziev started pressuring again. When he would start pressuring, Perisic kind of like catch his breath, get his gas back, and then blitz in with some big strikes, and that's what he did again. But Gaziev was constantly walking forward, getting into slugfest with him. When he would eat big shots, he'd go right back to the clinch. He did that again in round 2. The ref splits them up one more time, and then that's when the dagger was put into the heart of the blob, into the belly of the beast, literally the belly of the beast. Perisic finishes. Shamil Gaziev knocks him out in round 2. And Brendan Perisic, he's ranked now. He's number 15 in the heavyweight division. So he's making a run. Heavyweight, like I said, I've talked about it before. It's looking a lot better. And here's the reason why. Brendan Perisic. Good for him. There could be a lot of fun fights for him to do next. I'm excited to see what they do with the Balkan Bear after defeating Shamil Gaziev. But hey, good fight. Another one that I got right. That put me at 6-3. We move up to Marwan Rahiki versus Ali Schmid. You know, I dogged on Ali Schmid in the predictions because I didn't know who he was and nobody else did either. And that's okay. But he took the fight on short notice. So he got on the main card against Marwan Rahiki. He was 4-2. Now he's 4-3. I mean, this is another three perfect predictions in a row. I had 4 perfect predictions in a row, actually. Yeah. Because this one's not too hard to pick. I picked Marwan Rahiki first round knockout, TKO. That's what he got. I'm getting choked up. That's what he got. Like I said, props to Ali Schmid for showing up on short notice. Schmid shows up on short notice. Tries to strike with Marwan Rahiki. You do you, brother. But he ends up getting put away. I'm sure I probably took some notes somewhere. I don't know if they're worth looking at, but hey, we're here. We might as well look at them, right? What did I write about Marwan Rahiki? This is actually the first fight that I watched live because, again, for me, the main card started at 7 a.m. And when I woke up, it was Brando Perisic getting his hand raised after beating the Blob. So, yeah, that's where I woke up at. Where's Marwan? Like I said, this might not even be worth looking at just because of how quick it was. Here we go. Rahiki pressure and head kicks. Schmid looks hesitant. Schmid throwing heavy, though. Schmid turning it up a tad. More activity. Rahiki is dictating the pace. He's very fast. Rahiki drops Schmid with an uppercut and then finishes him on the ground. Schmid got smudged into the ground by Marwan Rahiki. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we came to expect. Marwan Rahiki, this is what he does to people. He puts people out. He had that fun fight with Harry Hardwick where he broke his jaw. Rahiki's fun, man. He's fun to watch. They wanted to get him on this card. I can't remember who he was supposed to fight. Ended up falling through. Of course, they find Ali Schmid, who was in shape and ready to go. So Schmid actually might get another fight in the UFC, believe it or not, because he helped the UFC out a lot here by doing this. So maybe they'll give him, another fight or two to kind of see if he is legit or not. So he might have did himself a favor by taking this ass whooping here. But hey, Marwan Rahiki talked about wanting to fight Tommy McMillan. Please do that. You know what? This is actually interesting. I hate on Tommy McMillan because I think his striking is god-awful. When it comes to striking, Marwan Rahiki's better. Marwan Rahiki could easily knock him out. But Tommy McMillan is a better wrestler and grappler, so if he does decide to be smart, he could take this one down to the ground and give Rahiki some problems. But if he tries to strike on the feet like he did in that last fight with whatever that Italian dude was that he beat up, yeah, Marwan Rahiki's going to sleep old McMillan. Yeah. I was going to make a horrible Juice WRLD joke, but I decided not to. Yeah, Marwan Rahiki would put him out. But it all depends on how McMillan wants to fight. So I would be interested in that fight if they put that together. Let's move on. Flyweights. We had Tim Elliott versus Steve Astro Boy Erceg. Erceg gets it done by decision, which is what I picked. I picked him by decision. He gets it done. He looked good, too. He's trying to bounce back right now after, where we at? Here we go. He's trying to bounce back. I said he beat Ode Osborne before this, which is like, nah. And then he beat someone else, too, I feel like. No, he lost before that. He had lost like 3 in a row, and I believe it was. And then he beat Ode Osborne, and now he's beating Tim Elliott. So now he's ranked top 10 again. He's top 10 in the UFC flyweight division again. So Steve Erceg, he's back on the climb here. Let's talk about it a little bit. They came out Tim Elliott, obviously in his awkward, funky style. Steve Ursig, more of a technical type boxer. Elliott was trying to stomp at Ursig's knee early, which I was a big fan of. But then he gets the takedown, and his takedowns, how do I want to describe this? It wasn't like a technical takedown of why he was getting it, but his timing was so good. He was timing his timing on his takedowns and his openings and his entries on Steve Ursig throwing punches was very nice, and why he was very able to get them a lot. So very impressive Tim Elliott on that point. He had that classic Tim Elliott style though. I literally wrote, I said his style gotta be so tiring. More foreshadowing for me. I was seeing into the future a lot this night. He would land a shot here and there. Ursig was more of a counter puncher, and it was not as active. He was like, it was data collecting in round one. He was trying to figure out where his openings were on Tim Elliott. He was down to drop around to Tim Elliott to try to figure something out. Yeah, Elliott ends up getting another takedown, I believe. He had 3 takedowns in that round, and yeah, I gave round 1 10-9 to Tim Elliott, of course. We move on to round 2. I said, Elliott looks like he could be slowing down because that style is so tiring, like I talked about. Ursig started throwing more. He was doing great at counterpunching. He kind of figured out Elliott's momentum, Elliott's flow, and when to throw his punches and land some shots. He was doing a lot better at that. Ursig, not a single punch to the body. He threw every single punch to Tim Elliott's face, which I thought was funny. Like he's playing UFC 5. He did not care about the body. I respect it. Ursig gets his own takedown. Then he gets taken down right after. Ursig always gets right back up, though. When he went hit the ground, he was either getting right back up. They'd have some fun scrambles. He started, just the momentum was just on his side at the end of the round. He was looking good. He was landing his strikes better. He was scrambling well, getting up after takedowns. And Elliott started looking really tired. My final note of that round was Ursig could finish it in round 3. We go to round 3. Ursig's got the momentum. His boxing is looking clean and crisp. There was less output from Tim Elliott as there was in the past couple rounds. Ursig was in full control. He was landing clean. Elliott got one more takedown. Ursig got right back up. I had a 10-9 Ursig, so I had a 29-28 Steve Ursig decision. That is what happened. He gets the decision. That put me at 7-3. And that took us right in to the co-main event. That was the co-main. Now we're in the co-main, where we had the matchup of Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. We had Beneil Dariush versus Quillen Salkilld. Now, Salkilld gets it done. Knockout TKO in round 1. That's what I picked. What I picked round 2. I thought Dariush should do a little bit better at surviving, which he did look okay. He started trying to smudge grapple Quillen Salkilld for a little bit, and it was kind of working. There was a moment where it looked like he clipped Salkilld or Salkilld slipped. I don't know, but the crowd freaked out for a second. And I kind of did too. I thought old Benny Beneil, I thought Uncle Beneil was about to put some hands on him for a second, but that did not happen at all. He tried to smudge grapple. Salkilld gets free, ends up putting him out in the first round. It is what it is. I want to sit here. I want to talk about Salkilld for a minute. I made a video on my socials, Showtime.tv or Showtime TV 04. Follow it on everything. Same as it here on YouTube. Subscribe. All that good stuff. But anyway, I made a video talking about Quillen Salkilld. And it was that, the UFC's got a star in Salkilld. He's putting people away. He's finishing people. He's got the look. He's got the personality. He's in the lightweight division. The UFC loves the lightweights. And he's in the rankings now. This guy, I should mention that. This got him number 12 for beating Beneil Dariush. He's now number 12. Insane work. Which took out, by the way, moving him to number 12, it dropped Beneil Dariush down 2 spots 14. They kicked out Manuel Torres to put in Salkilld, but kept Beneil Dariush, kept Michael Chandler. I digress. It's whatever. But when I'm talking about Quillen Salkilld, it's like there's a path they can take if they want him to be a star, which I obviously want him to be a star. They could do the Paddy Pimblett route. You give them winnable fights and you avoid the tough ones. These fights are winnable. Beneil Dariush, super winnable. I think of guys like him fighting a Dan Hooker. That's winnable. Maybe what was the other name that I thought of? A Michael Chandler. That's winnable. Maybe even a Rafael Fiziev, who just got booked, by the way. That could be winnable. Even a Paddy Pimblett, later on down the road. These could all be winnable fights. But the one name that's circulating around him that he needs to absolutely avoid. The UFC does not need to make this fight. If they want Quillen Salkilld to be a star and not hit a bump in the road and lose, keep him away from Mateus Gamrot, bro. Do not let Scamrot get a hold of Quillen Salkilld. I do not want to see that. We saw Beneil Dariush go for the wrestling, kind of smudge up Salkilld a little bit. Mateus Gamrot, man, let's not forget, he out-wrestled Arman Sarukian one time. And everyone talks about how good of a wrestler Arman is. Mateus Gamrot, he out-wrestled him. Now, Gamrot, this is what he does. Crafty vets, bro. We talk about crafty vets. Mateus Gamrot, he might be leading the group of crafty vets. This dude loves beating up on young guys everyone thinks is next up. I'm not saying Salkilld could not beat Mateus Gamrot, but, man, it's risky. It's risky. It's a fight that I would avoid if they want Salkilld to go to the top. Do not book him against Mateus Gamrot. Skip over Gamrot. Make him fight, like I said, a Dan Hooker, a Chandler, a Pimblett, a Fiziev. There's more fun fights and more entertaining, bigger name, fun fights that are more winnable than Mateus Gamrot. I think there's the downside outweighs the upside in that matchup for Quillen Salkilld. So, UFC, you got to avoid Mateus Gamrot at all times. The Scamrot, the gamer, he's going to get all crafty. He's going to go full crafty vet on Salkilld. Let's not let that happen. Anyway, let's move on. Salkilld gets it done. Main event, man. You know, Salkilld winning, by the way, that got me to 8-3 on the night. I got this main event wrong. Okay, I got it wrong. We'll get into it. That put me at 8-4, which isn't bad, but how completely wrong I was about the main event kind of ruins it all for me. Carlos Prates defeats Jack Della Maddalena third round knockout TKO. That doesn't tell the whole story. This was pure and utter domination from Carlos Prates. You know, I said Jack Della Maddalena was going to be the more technical striker, and he was going to use his grappling, and it was going to help him get the win. I don't know if he threw, like, any punches. He was terrified of getting punched in the face. He did try to grapple, but didn't do it good. He did it in a bad way, and it wasn't working. He was getting his leg absolutely chopped in half by Prates. Prates put on an absolute masterclass on Jack Della Maddalena. So it's begging the question for me, is Prates better than I thought he was? Is Jack Della Maddalena worse than I thought he was? I believe it's both. I believe JDM struggles with guys that are also strikers. He struggles when he's getting put on the back foot. He does not like it. He doesn't know how to strike that way. He was getting pieced up and beat up by Carlos Prates. Got dropped with a leg kick by Carlos Prates. And JDM, bro, this dude is like the worst guy at hiding emotion and pain. Like, when you remember the Islam fight, he looked like he wanted to cry in the corner. This dude gets a leg kicked by Carlos Prates. You just hear, ah, ah. He sounds like the SpongeBob dude. My leg. Like, bro, what are we doing? He was making it so obvious that he was in so much pain. And Prates is just laughing at him all the time. It was an absolute beatdown. I'm surprised it went to the third round. I think Prates was kind of playing with his food a little bit. But yeah, he gets the finish over Jack Della Maddalena. Absolutely dominates him. Says he's next in line. He wants the title shot next. He kind of spoiled. I mean, we all knew it was coming, but he kind of spoiled the Ian Gary versus Islam Makhachev. He said that's August 15th. I believe that's day after my birthday, by the way. But I believe that is a UFC 330, which is all what that's what we're assuming was next anyway for that date as well. But yeah, Prates says he said he's next. He said he wants the belt next, and you know what? Give it to him. Give it to him, man. Give him the shot next because I think he deserves it. But this also solidifies the argument from me about Ian Gary being the number one contender because he beat Carlos Prates 4 rounds to 1. Let's not forget that. He did shut down Carlos Prates. So the question really is, how good is Ian Gary? You know, how good is Ian Gary, man? How good's the cuck? How good is he? Because he was watching this fight from the corner, just absolutely salivating, knowing that he was going to be the number one contender after this fight, or knew that this solidified the argument of him being the number one contender. I should say he's kind of already is the number one contender, but still, yeah, it really begs the question: how good is Ian Gary? It's a shame that Islam's the champ because I think he beats all these guys. Unfortunately for them, so it's kind of like a stacked roster for no reason. But hey, it is what it is. I say Carlos Prates should wait it out. There's 2 things he should do. He should either wait it out and fight the winner of Islam versus Ian Gary, which I do believe would be Islam. Or, if he wants to be a man of the people, bro, he should fight Michael Morales, bro. Imagine Morales and Prates, dude. I would explode. That would be so good. It would be so good. If they could set that up, that'd be awesome. But yeah, JDM, I don't know what's next for him, dude. that was rough. That was a rough look for JDM in front of his people too. Such a shame. Rough way to go out. But yeah, that was the main event. That was the card, man. The card I finished, like I said, 8-4. I got the main event completely wrong. That sucks a lot. But hey, it is what it is. Fun card. And you know why I think I enjoyed it so much? Because there wasn't a single women's fight on this card. I have noticed that. Hey, I am who I am. Not a single women's fight, which meant a lot of non-decisions, a lot of finishes, I should say. So yeah, fun card down in Perth. Did pretty good on my predictions. I enjoyed it. But now, this week, bro, UFC 328 Strickland Chimaev is this weekend. I am so pumped for that. There's so many good fights on this card. I cannot wait to give you my predictions and break this one down. That'll probably be coming within the next 2 days or so. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be breaking that down. Yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good card. If you enjoyed this video, of course, and like all the other ones, make sure you like this video. Comment how you did on your predictions, and comment who you think is gonna win UFC 228 main event. I know most people are leaning Khamzat Chimaev, of course, but hey, let me know the other title fight too. Tatsuya Taira, Joshua Van. Tell me what you think about that. Yeah, Cortez and Volkov. You know, there's fun fights. Buckley and Brady on there. Jeremy Stevens, King Green. Fun fights on the main card, so we'll talk about that too. But let me know who you think's gonna win those fights. How you did on what you thought about this card. How you did on your predictions as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. That'd be awesome. Follow me on all my socials like I talked about earlier. Showtime TV 04 on all socials. That's TikTok, Instagram, and of course here on YouTube. So follow those. A lot of short form content about the UFC and MMA on there. And I think that's all I got. I will see you guys next time in UFC 328 Strickland Chimaev breakdown and predictions. I am so friggin' hyped.